Well, ladies and gents, welcome. I'm excited to be casting this series, and I hope you are in for a treat, or you are in for a treat. I hope you're excited for said treat. We've got some 4v4 Age of Empires 2 here in Nations Cup, and we are starting it all off here with Canada versus China in a semifinal. Now, it's important to clarify this, because a lot of you watching out there probably don't know the full format of the event. We're still far from finished. Normally, you have a semifinal. One person's out, other person moves on to the final. Final happens, event over. No, this is a double elim event. This is a semifinal in the winner's bracket right now, which means the losers of this event or this particular series will go down to another series and have a chance to go through, I think, 3 more rounds, go through the losers bracket, winner's final, then move all the way. In fact, there will be a final after this with the winner of this and the winner of the other series in the semifinal. Loser of that's even still alive. It's a whole thing. But let's talk about the game, shall we? We've got Canada, who hasn't lost a game yet in the entire event. I did not cover any of the group stage. I've only covered small parts of this event after that, but I'm going to be diving in deeper now. And again, Canada hasn't lost. I think they're like 15-0 in their games, and I think it was like 5-0 in their sets. Slam has been a big part of that. Slam has played fantastic on the flank. Slam's playing as the Italians here. His pocket is Hera. Hera's also been playing amazing. The beauty of like Slam and Hera is their consistency, and it very rarely make mistakes in what they do. Hera's playing as the Bulgarians here, so we might see a landing from him on Team Islands, as the meta is. In the teal, we have Mentalist. I got real excited about Mentalist in my cast of Canada versus Chile. Mentalist is a player who, former top 10, top 20 player back in 2015. I remember the guy. He was gone from the game until this past year. Did this whole thing where he tried to like hide his identity. I was like, who is this Canadian guy named Rose at 2100 ELO? Who is he? And then I remember one time I was playing him. I thought it wouldn't have been Mentalist, and I knew his name. I said, hey, Liam. And he didn't respond. He didn't say question mark. He didn't question it at all. There was just nothing. It was, 6 or 7 months ago. I was like, that's Mentalist. And here he is. He's now been playing like a beast for Canada. Glad to have him back playing as the Aztecs. And then his flank is Chris. Chris, another player, needs crazy introductions here. Chris, this guy, he was one of the GOATs, man. Like, he and Doubt were the best back in the mid-2000s. Chris does not play a lot of 1v1 events right now, but if you look at his 1v1 ranking, he's actually around that top 50 mark, and he's been amazing in this tournament as well. So you just got stars the whole way across there for Canada. And the last time Canada played, they had the players on the flank, Slam and Chris, go for water control. And then they had the pockets, so Hera and Mentalist go for landings and try and hit the middle area, like build buildings in the middle area, and hit China. Now, China, I mean, we're going to spend the whole Dark Age introducing these players. We've got Yo, who, surprisingly enough, is actually on the flank here. And Yo is one of the best players of all time. Yo is consistently getting deep into tournaments and 1v1s, and he has always, over the years, carried China and brought players together from his country. He's playing as the Saracens in the flank. In the purple here, we have a player, and I'm going to need someone from chat to tell me which player this is, because no, Ema, sorry, I know this is so annoying. This is Lix, okay? Super annoying. Players don't play in their main accounts. Don't get me started. But anyways, so that means that one of these guys is Vivi and one of these guys is Tim. And again, big stars. I asked Yo in person 2 months ago, like, hey, who's the second best player in China right now? Didn't even let me finish speaking. He just said Vivi. So Vivi's one of them. Vivi's apparently in the purple here. Okay. He's playing Sicilians. And then you got Tim on the flank. And Tim is just also amazing. I don't really have time to go through the history of all these players because they're all such big stars. But I do want to say that Canada is my favorite here. I think it is good for whoever loses this that it is double elim. And I think there will be some lessons learned. And then the team that loses will be stronger later on. But yeah, I'm going to say right now, before the series truly kicks off here and the transports are coming out or whatever, I'm assuming this is going to be a 3-1 victory for Canada. They've simply looked too good. Can you fix their names in Capture Age? I cannot, no. It's not possible for me to do that. If I could, I would. I could do it up here. I cannot do it down here. So, okay, so back dock from the pocket players. You'll notice that the players tend to spawn further towards the backwater on Team Islands. That is generally how this works. And you could tell some homework has been done here. because Lix is walling. So China is expecting a landing here of some sort. And Lix is going to try landing himself. So he's gone front dock. He actually only has 2 fishing ships. And if you're wondering why he only has 2 fishing ships, that's due to the fact that he had to walk all the way forward to dock. Hera didn't have to walk very far, so he was able to justify more. And I think Canada are using their history and using the meta to their advantage here, because look what Hera's doing. They're expecting, look at Canada's activity. They are expecting a landing from Lix. And if they find this, they could kill the landing, and then Hera could just make scouts at home. This could be a quick game. I think Lix saw the scout there, and he's like, guys, are you sure you want me to actually land? Yo is like, yes, Lix, that's what you're good at. And we even have a barracks from home from Mentalist, too. So Canada in the previous round went forward with villagers from pocket. This time, they're expecting some pressure, and they're just waiting for it. And there's Hera's stable. Is Vivi Fat Dragon? Yeah, Vivi is Fat Dragon. And, you know, unfortunately, again, they're playing with different names here or there. So, again, the flanks are going to be going water. And Slam looked so good. I would prefer Slam over Tim. And I would also prefer the Italians over Incas on this side. As for Yo versus Chris, I think it would be pretty close. But, you know, I got to prefer Yo there. And Canada, we're looking for this, but great job from Lix to have some patience. And Lix actually he's been able to get over here. And he's Khmer too, which is kind of interesting because he can hop into houses with his villagers. Chris is here, Slam is here, all of Canada's here. And they're looking to try and deal with this. And they might end up dealing with it. I mean, Hera's going to add his own scouts, but still, it is interesting. Gotta be honest, though. I think the most interesting thing is not actually what's happening here, because... You know, Lix, you know, he wants them to add something towards him. He wants to be distracting the enemy team. But the most interesting thing to me is the fact that we actually have scouts from Vivi, from home. So I think it was a similar line of thinking that they were expecting Canada to show up, and it didn't happen. But, you know, there's no Navy in the middle right now. It's important for Lix to keep these villagers alive. Is Lix going to be able to hop into this transport ship? Okay, Lix is into the transport ship. The stable's still producing scouts, but we've got archers and spearmen and scouts from Hera. So, a quick story time here. I played in 2v2 World Cup, and the meta was similar on Team Islands. This was in 2020, and everything was going good for our team. It's like we were in one of the toughest groups with like Viper, MBL, and the strong Vietnamese guys. We went up against Czech Republic, which was the other team in the group. We're like, okay, this is the other weak team in the group. And I went landing, and they went scouts from home. And they just destroyed me. Like, I did not expect it. And so I've been there. I've been in these positions before, as Lix is now trying to save his scouts here. And still, Vivi's got scouts around, right? Like, did Vivi transport them? Oh, Vivi's over. Never mind. Lix had used that. And it's important that they hit a player who's not expecting this. And, oh, man, this could hurt Slam because Slam's trying to micro. Slam's going to get hit by the scouts. Well played China here. Slam's going to get destroyed. And this gives an advantage to Tim in the micro. Slam's got to react to this. Not a good position to be in. By the way, in this Nations Cup, where Team USA did get knocked out, I also had a game where I was in Slam's exact position. Just bad experiences on islands. We ended up winning that game, though. I was very happy with recovery from the team. But that is exactly what the scout pressure can do. And much better that they went over towards Slam than over towards Hera, right? They just simply avoided all this army from these players. And actually, wow! Guys, Lix also killed 2 villagers from Mentalist. The fact that Canada was expecting them and then still took this much damage is very impressive from China. And obviously, that means like Slam he could lack production of ships. He could lack economy to go Castle Age. And sorry, by the way, that I missed this, but there's a reason for this. Because Yo had actually bypassed Chris. And he's trying to kill Mentalist fish. Honestly, I think if Yo were to go over and kill Hera's fish, that would be ideal. But maybe Tim's thinking that there's potential for that. Great job from Slam to hold on, by the way. He has still clicked up faster. It is cheaper for the Italians to do that, so that's a big reason why. Lots to follow here and lots of craziness as we have, scouts from Vivi killing a couple units from Mentalist again. Hera's still got lots of scouts, but do they see that Lix, who is up to Castle Age, has somehow come back over here? If you know Lix, again, highly suggest you watch the 2v2 World Cup on my YouTube channel. At least watch the final, okay? Like, the whole dominating conversation of that event was MBL and Viper just going to steamroll everybody, right? And, Lix is a good player, but he's no MBL, and he's no Viper. Anywho, Lix is just a pest. He's a pest. And, I'm still impressed with how China's been able to get the damage done because Canada's overall strategy has been incredibly strong. Look at Chris, right? Guy retired from the game, came back, and used to be top 5 in the mid-2000s. This dude's working a full-time job as far as I'm aware. Not playing the game as actively as everybody else, and he has played incredible. This is why this guy is so valuable to Canada. And we have archers here from Hera in his transport. Those are not his archers. They are actually Mentalist archers headed across. And this stable's partially walled up, but I don't think you could fully wall up the stable. We might see some knights there from Lix. But now there's going to be archers on the other side here. Still important to note that, Yo, while he's in Castle Age here, doesn't look like he's going to do too much damage against Chris here. Chris has tracked him super well. And then on this side, Slam is in Castle Age getting his upgrades. And then Tim, who might have good numbers, just hasn't been able to macro as well. Again, doesn't have the Civ. Italians are really, really strong at this. But Tim's actually just sending his navy to the middle, and he might start losing docks there. So important to Canada that their pocket players have had a free fish boom. Like, what do you want with Hera? You want him to make scouts? You want him to have a free boom? You want him to be untouched? He just goes insta TCs. So he's going to micro these scouts like crazy in combination with Mentalist. And they're just going to harass. And then with his 9 fishing ships, which is, I think, the most in the game. I can't glance at everything. He's going to have food income to add more villagers. Now, here you've got some knights and some activity from Lix, but for as annoying as Lix has been, he's really not been able to accomplish as much as he would have wanted here. It feels like Yo, who's trying to win water against Chris, who you could argue is beating him. I don't even think it's an argument. Like, Yo is absolutely getting beaten on water right now, based on what I'm seeing. So now Yo's got to deal with this, right? And that, of course, is going to be something that he communicates over here to Vivi. And Vivi also on the TCs pretty quickly. Also has had some fishing ships on the back. Chris is looking to stop some of that. But anyways, Vivi's here to help. And Vivi should be able to clear this up in the end. Meanwhile, Tim is back on Slam. And ooh, all of a sudden, Slam is actually behind him. I really like the Monk edition from Mentalist. Monks with Aztecs are just a no-brainer. But is he actually paying attention here? And will Lix notice that monk? Just passing? Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh, no way, dude. If Mentalist converts both these knights... Oh, he actually used both monks to convert the same knight. Still, missed opportunity for Lix. And I think that's because of this. He has to react here right now. So, yeah. The idea of Team Islands, guys, is to have... well, the idea of team games in general, but particularly Team Islands, is to put... It's always going to go late game, so you want to put your pocket players in a position to come into the game later on with a massive economy. And that has happened here for Canada, particularly with Hera. Now, if you're flank style, you can have some problems, right? Because, like, right now, Slam is struggling. Tim has played his role really well. And then, of course, you do have Yo pushing back on water against Chris now. So that's kind of the positives right now for China, is the flanks both have more galleys. But I'd say it's a big negative that Hera is currently with 5 TCs. But, what do you do with those town centers, right? You create economy, and then you want to spend it. So I don't know if Bulgarians have good navy, but I think Hera needs to try and get stables up here if he can. This transporting of the units back and forth across the water is something he should absolutely continue to do. But there is a point where if the additional navy is strong enough that China can deny that. But they're unable to do that right now. What they will do is kill Hera's fish. But Hera's fishing ships just gave him enough food to produce villagers out of the town centers. And he's already on farms. So losing your fish now, it doesn't hurt you as much. I really like how Tim had added a couple fires here, by the way. Just to help taking out the docks. But I like how stubborn Slam's been with keeping his docks up. It looks like neither Tim or Slam will click up anytime soon to the next stage. Like, these guys are going to be Castle Age for a long time. Vivi shows up. Slam notices it. Good communication. Good garrison there. Knights are going to run through now. And still big engagement over here. Slam's over here. What? Okay, so Slam had... Oh, okay, so Slam... The reason he didn't have the numbers on the side, guys, I completely missed that he went around the back. So he had actually sniped the fish from Vivi. That was a really important thing, and again, apologies for missing it. First game of the day for me. It is 1 p.m., but I feel like I'm just now warming up and waking up. So economically, it's not looking too good for China right now. Army counts are very similar. Again, I just have to go back and credit Chris for how good he's played. He's got so much economy here. He's got good Navy numbers. He could click up to Imp faster than Yo, possibly. But Yo's about to click now. Key difference here is that Yo hasn't added additional villagers. This is a 1 TC play from Yo. But that's crazy. We knew Yo was going to have to carry, which is why I felt like, you know, typically you have your carry player kind of in Hera's position, right? Going for the economy. But I guess Vivi is a big boomer. And so maybe he felt like, you know, Vivi can maybe even boom better than I can. Vivi just can't micro like I can. And yeah, then you want one of the pockets doing the aggression, so then that would be Licks, and this kind of makes sense when you think about it on paper. But yeah, we'll see if Canada will finally lose a game in this tournament. We'll get those answers in this series. What's left of Slam's Navy is going to go down here. Look at Hera contribute, but just on microing that one fire galley. Crazy. Again, what I said before is still so true, as Lick shows up with one random fire. If the Navy advantage is there for China, they can take this late, and Hera won't be able to use all those villagers, right? Like, he does not have a stable on the front. He is hoping to just keep transporting across. And Licks has continued to be a pest and make army here. So, honestly, like, it's a similar thing for Mentalist. Like, Mentalist is also going to be an imp. How are you going to use your advantage if you're behind in Navy numbers? Slam at 23 ships, by the way. Some of those ships just stuck over here. And Chris slowly losing docks, and he doesn't really want to have to deal with a Navy sandwich. And so Tim coming from one side, Yo coming from the other side. Yo will not want to take any massive engagements prior to Imp, though. But I think this is a fight that Yo would probably leave if he realized. Yep, he does realize now. He's chasing this as well, right? And Tim's going to also help with another little sandwich. Typical China hanging around. They don't go away, but you do have docks from Hera. Who, is he ever going to go Imp? Hera's just trying to clean up these landings. Hera just now getting horse collar. That's really bad. He's got 60 farms. Oh, man, that's a big upgrade to be missing there. I think Chris will maybe struggle to use his imp advantage because he's got so many problems on water. He's still trying to just run through. And we now have a castle from Vivi on the front, and China have slowly been, like, clawing their way back in this game. Again, the eco count's insane, but you gotta question the approach from Hera. I would have loved to have seen docks from him to make transports when they had control over the game. They don't have a good controlled position now to be able to have Hera transporting across. So he's going to have to use all that eco to defend their own island. And they might get surrounded on the other side here too, because here is Tim, who's played incredibly well. He's alongside Yo, who's going to have Galleon in a moment. All the docks for Chris are going to go down. And you could tell Chris is like, I still have to hold water control for my team. Oh, big moment though. Big moment. Mentalists made it across. China did not see this. So he snuck across, probably just with one transport. And this is going to save Canada's chances, I think. Because he's going to have elite Eagle Warriors. He could get into Yo's economy. He could get into Vivi's economy. Vivi could make army, but again, you don't want to be doing that. You want to just be focusing on a push here. Wow, okay. That's a big deal. The eagle raids could devastate economies. And again, you're going to have some gaps, right? So like 5 eagles here. Boom, Tim's distracted. 5 eagles here. Vivi's having horrible position. And they're going to find out now. But this now makes the defense from Hera a bit easier because Vivi will have a lot of work to do. And he reacts to it. Fortunately for him, he had stables before. But that's going to be some crazy eagle spam and some monks as well. Wouldn't even surprise me to see pikemen. There's a signal there from Lix. I think that's Lix saying, like, give me a transport ship or something. I'm not sure. But, like, by the way, Slam is really dying here. Slam is really struggling against this push. How would Lix stick around? Hera has 161 vills. He's over booming. He's got to be careful here. Honestly, if Mentalist wouldn't have got the landing in, I think this would be... I don't know if I could say it's close to GG. That's a pretty ridiculous statement on islands. But I would struggle to see a way back for Canada. Because they have so much harassment coming in their way. But Mentalist could maybe save the day for them. Good conversions there. Should happen on the Cavalier. A defensive castle instead of an offensive castle here. What a great job from Vivi, though, dude. The Fat Dragon, able to defend for his team to the best of his ability, obviously. Also, still able to push Hera here, who's got the much better boom. Hera has no distractions now. He just has to focus on this and needs to win this fight. I think Hera overbooms. And I think he could have transported earlier, right? Like, it felt very realistic for him to have stables up over here, and he kept transporting across. Will Canada regret that? There's more military for China. Double the military than what Canada has. But the Canada military is about to get a whole lot stronger because we will have Stirrup Cavalier for Hera. Bulgarian Cav attack 33% faster. And Hera, there's no doubt he's going to push this back in my mind. He's got the numbers. This is all due to the fact Mentalist is all over Vivi right now. Vivi's down to 110 eco. He's down to 10 military. Canada they're definitely going to push back. Hera could absolutely in the near future get docks up, maybe contribute for his team. And he actually has docks up on the back here. So very well, good recovery from him. The slinging rules in this tourney, you can send resources to someone if they're in the same age, if they're in an age down. I think that's what it is. Yeah, so like if you're an imp, you can send it to someone in Castle Age. You can't send an age up. Guys, I'm worried for Vivi, right? And I'm as good as Yo is playing right now, there's a slight chance that Chris could come back on water as well. I mean, Yo is pushing hardcore here. He's got the cannon galleons. But Vivi's castles buy him time. But I think he'll lose these. Lix also, like, it says he's got army. But it feels like all this army is going up here. Mentalist, look at this position he's gaining. You can send imp to imp as well. Yeah. With the exception being imp to imp. Yeah. Whenever it was an imp, you can share resources. Teams should be doing that. It's that one transport. We'll have to maybe go back to it later and see how Mentalist got here. But that is going to allow Slam to maybe come back in this game. That's going to allow Hera to push out across the map. Hera with Galleon here. And, oh, Tim's going to lose some of that Navy. And you can look at the population now. Look at the eco difference, guys. I think Canada, they have a forward position where they're doing more damage than China is now. All their players have more economy than the Chinese players. The whole way across the board, actually. And the push is completely stalled here. How do you bring this back? I think what happens is China invests a great deal to trying to kill Mentalist. And in that time, Canada just comes right back on water, and then Canada has the water control. I think that's how this game flows from here. The Pikeman, Eagle, Monk position here. The stubbornness from Mentalist, so good. And, you know, Hera's on Galleon, right? I think forward docks will happen once they clear up these buildings. Hera's got to just shift his troops forward to do that. Tim does have a lot of Galleons. And I see he's got Elite Eagles, so I don't know if he's going to maybe try and land barracks here. Look, one stable, there are a couple stables still up, and Vivi's still raiding. Like, it's such a Vivi thing, man. It's so important he does it, too. And, oh, God, we got Sergeants. We must have had First Crusade over here for Vivi. Sergeant actually pretty good against, even at not being elite, I think they're pretty good against the Eagles and against the Pikes. What a great game, though, guys. This has been an awesome game, awesome series. Trade will matter on this, by the way. Players will need to make sure that they're adding trade cards. Sorry to look away from the fight to show the trade, but it's kind of important game flow things I need to talk about. Some people were like, show me the units dying. I need it. Understandable. Couple fast fires there. Couple fast fires here. So, you know, Canada's still controlling the seas on the front, which does not allow Hera to use his military. Hera's got 25 military on land that he can't use yet unless he can get to a transport somewhere. And, oh, man, that was a big moment, actually, because the Treb just went down there for Vivi. He does have another one here, which he should probably use. And they're just trying to take Mentalist off the middle. But Chris is back with 40 galleons. Now, Saracen galleons are superior, and yo, I think you just got to commit to this fight, even based on how this game is flowing for you. You don't have good economy. I think if you try and recover economically, you will lose this game. You have to hope that the Saracen galleons can do it. It's 42 galleons versus 36, so he's actually taking the superior fights. And, you know, now you've got Slam back on water, right? This is what we expected. And still, Mentalist has not lost this castle. Great job from him. He must have sniped the Trebs. Yeah, Yo is not going to have an economy to continue to produce ships long term. Chris will, which is why you continue to push here. I love Vivi so much. I mean, I do love Vivi, but I just love Lick so much. I'm not sure what his units are doing. He didn't attack with them. But I love how this stable has led him to continue to raid so consistently. I think Hera just deleted some Vils. I saw his Vil count drop considerably. And Vivi's going to have the same problem that some of the other players have had here. Like, if they eventually clear this up, then he's got a lot of army on land that he can't really do anything with. How is Yo's push going? That was a delete from Chris. He didn't lose the stone on that castle. Yo has 37 galleons. Chris has more now, so he's got more than what Yo has, and Yo's got some weak ships. I think Chris will soon clear this. And I think China starts to crumble soon. That said, Tim has played really well on this side. And we do have trade now starting for China. But I mean, they still got Aztec spam right up in their business here, which is not good. But I mean, hey, they've made progress here. You love every pro? Not to the same level. But yeah, I appreciate every pro for the differences they bring, right? We've got a wide variety of personalities in our scene, which is awesome. Tim has played really well this game, and he's top scorer now, which kind of shows it. But I think he, unfortunately, he's against 2 now, right? And you see Yo now realizing he will lose these battles, so he does have to back up. I like this from Licks, contributing with a couple of these fast fire ships. And even if China loses, impressive showing here, because they were behind massively. And they're still behind. They're behind in every category here. I think you could even argue they're behind in civilizations to an extent, but maybe not. I think having Saracens on the flank, pretty freaking strong. But I prefer Italians, Bengalis at the flank stack at the very least. That's a castle that will not go up yet. But it does lead to Chris winning a fight here because a lot of those ships were killing villagers. And now you see Hera and you see Slam focusing with water. Hera's been wanting to use this cav for a while now. So finally he gets a chance. He's just going to use them as a distraction. We'll lose some, but that's fine because then he gets more pop space for water. And this is where Hera needs to dock the front. I think that's why he's building this crepe post. Because the docks on the back were great, but now you need to dock the front so you can produce there. And Canada continues to push on both sides. And China continues to fall apart here. Trade is necessary. This game could still go on for a while. And Mentalist is still beasting it up here. Like, it's so worth it. You might think, well, why invest stone into more castles here when you continue to lose them? Because it's holding precious control. Look at Yo. Like, Yo is not in a good spot. He's got 51 galleons. But economically, he's not in a good spot. He doesn't have any trade carts, whereas Chris has 7 trade carts with more on the way. Also, trade is cheaper when you have Italians on your team. So, yeah, I think this is really bad for China. Again, Hera should be docking forward soon. And, oh my god, they need to kill Lix's stables. No, Lix transported. Lix is back. Killing tons of villagers from Slam. This is actually going to create a bit of a power vacuum, though, because Slam was fully popped, and he just lost 30 vills. So now he's going to get more trade carts, and he's going to get more galleons. So that could end up being pretty bad on water for China. It's not a bad move to raid somebody, but when a team is ahead of you, and they've got such a healthy eco population, and a lot of units in queue, and you kill their eco, this happens. I think Yo gets destroyed in this fight now. Bengali ships do heal as well, which pays off if you're taking breaks between fights. You see the weak units for Yo. His units don't heal up. Ships do for Chris. Yo's got... I mean, he doesn't have a base anymore. His eco count hasn't changed from when I looked last, which is pretty ridiculous to say. I guess a lot of his villagers are just over here. But, yeah, I mean, he's got random stuff happening in his base all the time. Speaking of random stuff, there we go. We've got some trade carts. Gotta love how there's no caravan yet for the trade cart there from Chris. Harris Cav will clear that up, plus there's castle positions, and like I said, the Navy is simply too strong for Slam, who kind of struggled in this game. Not really his fault. I think that there was a bit of an issue for Canada tracking the scouts from Vivi and Lix at one point, and that could have been communicated to Slam. Like, I don't see the scouts wall up, or even they should have really tracked the scouts based on how they started. But still, it was a very impressive recovery from the Canadian flank. And I would say the same thing for Chris, because Chris had some problems against Yo. But Yo was pretty much all in this entire time, right? He did not prioritize economy, and economy is needed, late game is needed. I think if I had to give the MVP to anyone in this game, I think I'd give it to Mentalist, because somehow Mentalist got the landing down, right? And Mentalist is still here. Like, what Mentalist accomplished here, it removed the option from Yo to be able to actually expand economically. It distracted Vivi from being able to push Hera when it looked like that Vivi was going to have the better of that engagement. And he even got into Lix's economy. I mean, he was on 3 people. The only person he didn't really hit was Tim. Impressive job. And obviously, great job from all of Canada, right? This is the thing, is like everyone just performed so well, and there were some minor things here or there. Like, yeah, Canada could maybe have done this slightly differently. But when compared to China, right, you just had players falling flat at times. Like, the initial rush didn't look too good. If anything, I feel like China fell behind in this game, and then they impressed how they could come back, right? Also, that is a trade cog. That is a trade cog. Hype? I guess they don't feel like they can go for actual trade. But again, Canada hasn't lost a game yet in Nations Cup. This is the semifinal in the winner's bracket. So there will be a loser's bracket for whoever loses this series. But Canada is going to continue winning, at least to start off the series here. China's known for not resigning when they are dead. They fight on until they are completely sure. Still Mentalist is here, dude. Still Mentalist is here. Holy crap. Also, it's Garland War Champions, which is pretty hype. Which it should be beating Elite Sergeants pretty convincingly, I think. Like, Sergeants actually have... They have really good melee armor. But they should be getting... They should be getting wrecked here. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like, the water is now won. So the trade cannot happen for China. That's what Mentalist accomplished for his team, is distracting enough players. It's about time you consider calling the GG here if you're China. Really good game, though. And yeah, we'll look at the resources collected once the game ends, which should be any moment. I really like the decision from Canada to not initially land and take a risk there. I remember Finland did that before, and I will cover Finland when they play, further sets in this tournament. Finland was the #1 team for me coming into this tournament. I still think they're the #1. I think I would put Canada #2 right now, though I might change my mind after we see the conclusion of this series. But yeah, Finland did that a lot. Like, they would just go for the economy with the pocket players, and they would prep stables and expect a landing. And if there wasn't a landing from the opponent, they're like, oh, great. Well, okay, we're just going to add... then what we're going to do is we're just going to add transport and send my scouts across. Yeah, I'm not... I don't know what you mean by live stats exactly. I will show the conclusion, and I'll show the stats here in a second here, our base. But great stuff. Well played. And, I mean, good fight from China, but kind of covered everything that needed to happen here for China to have a way back. Initially, the starting strat from Canada was very strong and consistent. So here's a look at the economy. Hera collected more resources with 111k collected, but the KD, man, that's all Mentalist there. Mentalist, 563 kills. That is hundreds more than Slam. That is hundreds more than Hera and Chris. An impressive job from the weakest player on their team, Mentalist. Is he weakest in team games? I don't necessarily think so. But in terms of the 1v1 capability and track record, when you're up against big, like talking about players like this, Mentalist is the weakest. It was an impressive job. Now, you know what I want to see more than anything, actually, is where and when did he get there? Right? Because, like, look, even, like, at the end of that game, Hera's got, like, 40 cav he can't transport across. I think that's something that, again, if I were to pick up anything with Hera's plays, just you got to, I think, sense to just get Vills over there earlier. Because, like, at this stage of the game, if Hera was able to get transports with villagers, I guess he was trying. I think that eco just overruns everybody there. Okay, Mentalist. Looks like it was right now. He's going across. And remember, China's winning water at this point. And China's starting to loop in. So, maybe Vivi had spotted this. Maybe I missed a couple things. I guess the castle certainly made life awkward for Hera. There's a lot going on there. But that transport and the fact that China didn't pick up on those buildings going up, because look how long Mentalist has. They still have no clue. That changes the game right there. Because at that point, China has a massive lead on water. And that lead on water can neutralize any potential of land, because the only land army you should be able to easily make if you're Canada is on your own island. If that eco turns into land army on the other island, though, it changed the game. Well played. Good game #1. We'll have game #2 probably be a Nomad map for China. They've got actual Nomads, and then they have African Clearing, which is also Nomad start. So maybe they feel as though that's a weak point for Canada. It's always been a strong point for Chinese players. Someone said, like, current wood, food, etc. at the bottom right. Oh, wait, did I have this toggled? I'm sorry about that. I sometimes will click that. You probably wanted to see this, right? My bad. I hadn't looked at it in a while, and I didn't realize I toggled that. I'll make sure that the live resources is always there at the bottom right. I just assumed that was there. So when Arbase asked about it, I was like, what are you even talking about? Why would I go to a special resource screen? My bad. So for China, we've got Slavs? What? What? I mean, they probably didn't want to use all their good civs, right? But Slavs? That's weird. Okay, Spanish, Slavs, Malians, and Burmese. For Canada, we've got Vietnamese, Goths, Tatars, and Koreans. All right, ladies and gents, welcome game #2. And we've got the home map for China, and it is the map that China have been dominant on for as long as I've been around, so a decade or so. Chinese players love their Nomad. What is Harry even doing here? I didn't build it. Wait, no, he must have built it a little bit, because there was a deletion there. Anyways, sorry for the confusion there. Harris TCing over here. But the whole point is, what we've got here is we've got 4 players, 4v4 Age of Empires, and we've got Nomad. And the important thing to mention as well is that Canada used higher civ picks for game number 1. It was very obvious to me when I went back to the civilization draft after this that China didn't really value Team Islands that much. Of their like final 8 picks, they used 4 of them for Team Islands. But they picked really early because for a lot of the Nomad civilizations, because both their home maps are Nomad-esque. So we will get our introductions in. We're going to start with the Chinese players. Now, docs are important too, but let's just start with the TCs. We've got Slavs for Lix. I think Lix is going to try and find somebody and be a pest. Maybe go scouts or something. Slavs is their final civ pick. It's their last one. It was like a throwaway for them. They felt like the other civs were strong. In the red, though, we've got Spanish. And this is for Tim? Oh, no, they're restarting. Never mind. Okay, they're restarting. Okay, so that's good. I can give a better intro. I guess restarts are allowed on Nomad up until the 4-minute mark. And they are going to use their restart. And we'll have the same civs, but they'll just have a different map gen and redo this thing. All right, here we are, ladies and gents. Welcome to game number 2. And this is the home territory for China. Again, Canada has not lost a game this entire event. This is the winner's bracket semifinal. Losing player will still move on to a loser's bracket, have the potential to work their way all the way to a grand final. But Nomad is... Oh, my God. This is going to be crazy. Nomad is something that China excels at, especially, guys, if the most annoying player on their team, Lix, can be close to Canada. Here we have Mentalist for Canada. Here we have Slam for Canada. Here we have Chris for Canada. And then there is Lix. Oh, God. Meanwhile, for China, we have... again, I forget if this is Vivi or Tim. I'm going to guess this is Tim. No, I think this is Vivi, actually. Anyways, we have Spanish player all on his own. We have the Malian player all on his own. And then we're going to have Yo all on his own. So, honestly, okay, so China just used their restart. So apparently there are restarts allowed for Nomad. They have Vietnamese here, Canada. I think Slam is going to see that the TC spots. And I think they might need to consider a re. They've got Lix right next to him, which is the biggest pest. And he'll be happy to just delay the other 3. And the others all have a free boom and are really far away here. I don't know what the restart rules are, but there's a signal. And they're like, there's Lix right next to us. They should restart, right? Or they actually see that as a positive and they just take Lix out of the game and then it's 4v3. I know, like, people are like, yeah, it's a 3v1. Absolutely. But there's the other thing, too. Like, you actually struggle. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for these players to get boars even, right? Like, Mentalist is going to get this one. Slam is going to get this one. And then Chris is going to get this one. But then it's like, where else are you going for boars? You're going into the similar territory. We are not going to see a restart here. So dock positions matter an awful lot as well. Mainly the Spanish player having safe fish. And again, this is a dream. Because you have the Spanish player. On the left of him, you've got Lix. Did the Vil fighting start already? I heard attack. Oh, Yo just killed Chris's villager. Wow. Heads up play from Yo. Walled in the Vils there. Killed the villager from Chris. Sorry, and then back to the docks for China. You have the yellow dock here. So there's no real docks close by. Actually, all the Chinese docks are in a line together. Dude, that's amazing. For Canada, you've got the dock over here for Slam. You've got the dock over here for Hera. The dock is to the north for Mentalist. And then obviously we know where Chris's dock is because he just lost a villager. But listen, you know, with Spanish having a free fish boom and a stone right underneath the TC to go conquistadors, this is already going to be really strong. And all Lix's job is just to be a pest. You can die here, right? Like, you could sacrifice yourself to delay the others, be a target, and the other 3 could dominate. So that's what Lix is going to try and do. And also, the other positive is Slavs was their last civilization pick. Now, they don't have the Vietnamese bonus, so Lix doesn't know that so many people are around yet. But fortunately, TCs don't kill anything in 2023. What is that? Guys, I've been talking about it since DE came out. I'm not the only one. TCs are garbage. They're just garbage. It's trash day in 2 days for me. I should grab these TCs, throw them right in the garbage. They don't hit anything. It was underneath the TC, a villager. Crazy. So yeah, it's the classic, like, am I trapped in here with you or are you trapped in here with me meme? I mean, Lix is not going to have a good start compared to, you know, what you would want. But he could lame this. If I were him, I would wall in this Vil and I would lame this. You do not want to allow Mentalist to get it. Or you just run for it. And either Mentalist didn't see... Oh, God. Now Lix finds out there's another TC here. He didn't know. But it's okay. TCs suck. Boars are good, though. And the boar gets the kill. And now Mentalist is like, oh, a boar. Nice. Yeah, look at this. Boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, Lix is just going to have to be a pain in the ass. So, what do you do here? We know Spanish should go fast castle. I think China love their unique units. So, I could see Yo going fast castle into Arambai. However, Yo does know that Chris has a dock here. And he might feel like that's a problem. So, he might want to go water. Typically, the Malians go water. So you already have yellow on the way up. And I want to look at how many boars were actually brought in here for Canada. But it looks like Slam got 2, so Slam's had a pretty good start. And then Chris got a couple as well. Guys, I have a team bonus suggestion. Hera, what's up, bud? Hera, how you doing, bro? You good? Having a nice day? Okay, almost lost a villager to a boar. I have a team bonus suggestion. I never have team bonus suggestions. This might be the first one I've ever had, but you ready? Enemy dock positions are visible. Docks are so important, both in 1v1s and team games. It'd be a nice Nomad bonus. I think that bonus should be given to a civilization. I just have to think of what civilization would benefit from that. I think it'd be really good. Because already we've talked about the TC positions with Vietnamese, right? Oh, he's going to TC drop. He's going to TC drop. He's deleted his TC. This is Lix. He says, what's up, Slam? How you doing? My TC's now on your face. Classic Lix, bro. Classic Lix. He wants to delay the others as long as possible. And now Slam is going to be super annoyed by this. And Christian says it would be OP. No, it wouldn't be OP. More OP than some of the other bonuses that civilizations have, than eco upgrades and age earlier, and cheaper than all other town center positions. Like, obviously, you don't want to give it to a civilization which is already really strong. I think it would be rather nice. I wouldn't want to give it to the Dravidians because the Dravidians already have really good dock bonus. So that's kind of double dipping. I think it'd be good. So Lick says, I probably was going to die anyways. So let's take someone else down with me. This would be such an impressive win for Canada if they win this game. Like, I cannot stress to you guys how bad this is for them. It is awful. Slam is going to start losing his fish. That could lead to Hera losing his fish as well. They can't do any damage on the Chinese players whatsoever. And Slam's going to lose his TC. Good defense from Slam, though. Like, what Slam wanted to do is just go water uncontested. So, yeah, he actually is getting the better of the engagement right now. I do question whether or not he's going to be able to produce more ships in the long term, though, because he will lose his town center. And Lix is also, like, kind of Vil rushing over here. And he's also taking out the house. This is exactly what we said Lix would do. Forcing as many reactions as possible. First dock or all dock? I think first dock, if they could do it, they probably could be able to program that, right? Because they did it with TCs, with Vietnamese. All right. What's happening over here? Free and easy game? I'm sorry, can someone help me out again, by the way? Is this Tim or is this Vivi? I think this is Tim, and I think Vivi's in the yellow, right? I think even not remembering the order or the length of these names I can't pronounce, I believe that you would always want Vivi going water, and you would want Tim going conks. Tim is loves like Mongols, and he loves Spanish, and he actually like has gone through periods of time where he only plays with those civilizations. The long name is Tim? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then again, Vivi loves conks too. Okay. All right. Thank you. Look at this. Hera is spending wood to repair Slam's TC. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Is this intentional so Slam doesn't have to spend as much wood on Navy? Okay. We have Man-at-Arms, we have Tower here from Mentalist. But it's like, you're investing into Feudal Age to kill a player who is already dying. By the way, Chris lost his fish. And we could see the fishing ships go down for Mentalist now soon as well. Lix has decided to do everything he can to disrupt the others to give his team a free and easy game. This is amazing for China. Wait, Lix douched? Yep. That's what he's doing. I should have expected it, honestly. It was like the perfect situation for it. You have 3 TCs around, and you're not gonna. He wouldn't be able to contribute effectively with anything else. He's gone a little crazy here with the Vil War, and now he's gonna drop a TC here on Chris. He's like, okay, Slams. He's not going away, so I'm just gonna get this guy now. There he goes, another TC drop. Yo's still passing through with some Navy. Slam still has done remarkably well considering the circumstances, I have to say. And Lix is at 28 villagers. But he still has fishing ships. And Man-at-Arms can't count to the TC. And now Chris is going to have his TC start to get shot down. And Slam is like a bunch of idols on his gold. This is just, it's so frustrating to play against. It's not fun. The eco count is higher for China. And they have a player in Castle Age. And we have Conquistadors already on the way. What are you going to do against Conquistadors when most of your players are in Feudal Age for Canada? Oh, Hera even went Archers, which I'd missed. Yeah, Archers are just going to get mopped up by Conks now. Is there stone mining coming in here for Chris? There is somewhere. It must be around. I actually can't see it. Lix is now attacking the mining camp. Slam has to reposition. Oh, there's the stone for Chris. Okay, so Chris is going to drop a castle. I imagine he drops it somewhere where he could shoot Lix's TC down. But again, you're still trying to kill a guy who's 300 score. There's a TC for Yo. There's a TC for Yo. So he'll be 3 TC. Boom. There's the castle drop. Okay, the next question is, does Lix get defeated here? Hera getting attacked by the Conquistadors as we speak. And again, that economy is just so freaking good for China. They have the eco lead, despite the fact that one of their players is about to maybe be defeated. Okay, Lix he doesn't have stone, but he does have enough wood for a lumber camp. So we'll see what he does. He actually is walled in here. Yeah, he just realized that he's walled in because he tried to click this way. And the walls there make it awkward for him to get away. Mentalist saved his own fishing ships, which is very nice. And he's about to be in castle, but oh man, Yo's so annoying. And Yo's now going to kill the fish. I spoke at the wrong time. And the villagers are trying to get out here, and the conks are going to come help out so Lix can run away. But job done for Lix. Now you just try and make sure you're not completely out of the game if this goes late. I don't like this, however, for Vivi. Like, yeah, obviously you're killing Slam's fish, but if the Navy gets by here for Slam, that could kill all the fishing ships of you and also your teammates. So that's actually really good for Team Canada. And the hope here for Canada, obviously, is that they can like take Lix out of the game. And then if Lix is completely out of the game... Look, he still stays here! And Chris can't garrison! It's crazy! If Lix is completely out of the game and you hold on, you'll have 4 players versus 3. Wow, that's just, again, only Chinese players can judge that situation as a good situation and say, yeah, let's stay in the TC a little bit longer. What does Hera contribute here? I don't really know. He's got 11 crossbows somewhere. I don't think that'll do anything. I shouldn't say that, actually. Crossbowmen can help against conks, especially with thumb ring. Slam still in feudal, by the way. I again toggled that. Sorry about that. This is bad. This is China's way back into the game. This is a big mistake from Vivi. Literally, you have the easiest job ever. Just patrol this choke point because the other side's locked down and make sure your team doesn't lose fish. This is a horrible throw for China. This should not be happening to your pocket players. Because you already had done damage to other people's fish. You never needed to move by. I'm not sure what happened there. I maybe should be giving credit to Slam as well for being sneaky. Because that's what... That is the most effective thing Slam could have done for the team. Anyways, Lick's trying to survive now. That makes me think Canada could maybe accomplish something here. Still not completely tracked, right? So Lix could lose his fish. He's at 36 Vils, or 36 eco, and he needs to make a town center somewhere. T90 yellow is Tim, red is Vivi. Okay, don't blame me, okay? And purple is Lix, but are they playing with their names for us? No. I should message Yo about it. I should text him and say, what are you doing to me, bro? Sorry for not remembering, but it's... There's so many other things going on in my brain all the time when I'm trying to cast games. Normally I put minimal focus on trying to remember what names were there. Oh god, there's a monk. There's a monk getting a relic there for Yo, and Lix actually saves it. And Man-at-Arms gonna get converted. What a weird situation this is. Hera at 38 economy. And despite losing almost all of his fishing ships, the red player is at 48 economy. And then Yo is at 65 economy, which is by far the most in this game. We do have 4 town centers for Mentalists, though. And Goths can do some crazy things in later stages of games. We all know that. You can change their name in Capture Age, I think. I can't change it here unless you guys can tell me how. Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What? Okay, you guys are incredible. I didn't think this was possible. Okay, so red is Vivi. And then this is Tim. Holy crap, my life has changed. Oh, my God. That's been that all these years. Sick. Okay, problem solved. Click the buttons. Dude, it's like right there on the main screen. I didn't even see it. I'm so blind. I'm sorry, guys. I suck. Okay. Canada's got a chance, man. Canada's got a chance in this. I'm shocked that Tim allowed... Wait, did I get that right? Or did I... Now I'm second-guessing myself. Wait, did I get it right? I think I did. I'm shocked that Tim allowed those galleys to get through and kill the fish. 25 eco kills. No. It would be... Oh, he lost his ship there. So it was 25 eco kills, and then he lost his ship. Yo has been going for a pretty greedy boom here. Just some monks and some siege to defend. Yo will complete this castle. Just a matter of how much he loses before he completes it. And Canada's about to pass China in the economy. Lix just now has a town center and is on the way to feudal. But there is a castle on Hera's face. This is really bold from Hera to move out here, but I think he knows that Vivi's probably not paying attention. And Conquistadors, they can wreck Hera, but they haven't been able to. These conks haven't found the spots yet. I think these conks need to just dive into Canada's eco somewhat. You just got to let the castle and the siege do work against Hera. A couple wagons here versus a couple wagons there that were converted, so good job from Yo. And finally, this big ball of Conquistadors are going to make their move. Again, Lix found himself right up against all the Canadian players. There's no restart attempt, and now you're starting to see these Conquistadors pay off. You look away for 1 second, and your whole eco is going to be gone. And Chris was distracted there. Chris takes some heavy losses. He's soon going to be on par with Lix economically. But Lix is playing with their weakest civilization on their draft. So overall, I don't think they're too disappointed with how this has panned out. These Conquistadors can sit underneath the tower. Like, they could just shoot the tower down. Or run right past it. More wagons diving deep here. More monks on the way for Yo to get conversions. Wagons can do this. Arrow fire doesn't do much to them. They can get converted pretty quickly as well. And it looks like you do have one. And it looked like 2 conversions there because the monk stopped, but I didn't actually see it. And what are Goths going to do against Conquistadors? They're going to die to Conquistadors. Unless you make a whole lot of infantry. And hope for the best with that. But these Conks just run right on by. Now, this is with the old patch, right? Conquistadors, as of the new patch, which we're not playing in this tournament, would have 1 less Pierce Armor, so they'd take a little bit more damage from Arrow Fire. Yeah, lots of idle time for Mentalist, and that will continue. Should give Yo a lot of time to prep to go for the kill. And Yo's got a forward castle here. I still think China wins this game. Like, I'm struggling to see what Hera can do to contribute. He's just defending from Conks and Siege all the time. Chris can't contribute anything beyond the wagons, and the wagons still aren't good enough. Again, he doesn't have good economy. As for Tim, Tim's got a pretty nice boom here. Tim could contribute with a variety of things as Malians in the later stages of the game. And Slam has a decent economy, but doesn't have anything on land right now, and it would take some time for him to get into the game as well. So, you remember, I mean, it's not a bad point to bring up, right? I'm not trying to poke fun at it. I just think it's just such a funny thing how someone was like, yeah, but Lix is versus 3, he's gonna die. Yeah, that's the point. Lix dies on his terms, and he takes Elders with him. And again, if the... Oh, man, big moment here. Hera could actually deny this castle. If the... If those fishing ships would have never been killed, this game would already been called, right? The fact that Slam killed 25 fishing ships is the only reason that Canada has a chance. Or had a chance. Incredible play from Vivi, though, we have to say. Like, I know Conquistadors are really good, and his position was great, but the fact that he continued to drop forward castles, and he has good economy with 76 villagers is impressive. It's been impressive from a variety of the Canadian players as well, not to die worse to this. Like Hera, the fact that he's got this economy is still really, really strong. But I think you're consistently fighting at disadvantages, and you've got double castle from Yo, and he'll go for trebuchets now. And Yo is the Burmese, so he has great infantry as he gets supplies. And so he is not scared of the Goths at all here. There's no reason to be. Again, if the restart rules allow you to call a restart before 4 minutes, I think that was the easiest restart you could have ever called if you're Canada. As I say that, though, I think it's possible Canada just said, look at their civs. We're probably going to lose against China on Nomad anyways. Let's not waste it because we have African Clearing as another map in this tournament. And African Clearing is also Nomad, could also maybe be a map where you want the restart. Canada's taking the eco lead. Yes, but they will die. Don't want to be that caster, but they will die a horrible, horrible, painful death. Because the pain just continues. Any eco they have will soon be killed. I'm that confident of it because it is China we're talking about. By the way, Lix is on the way to Castle Age. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Tim has had stables over here. He's now streaming knights into Chris's base. Probably the last player that you want to be attacking now. You probably want to get the knights into someone else's base. I mean, you can easily do that, right? Longsword upgrade is in. Two-handed swordsman will come in after. Lots of attack for the Burmese infantry. I mean, in theory, rats and archers, wagons, and Huskarls, are they elite? No, they're not. But all that together could be pretty decent there. But again, it's 3 versus 1. And, you know, Hera's got 2 army now. Like, Hera's got nothing. He's getting destroyed. And now Slam's going to get hit as well, right? I think you're right that they were toast, but after the statement, I think it would be hilarious if Canada turns it around. Yeah. I'd love to be proven wrong in this instance because it feels impossible. That's their best fight, Canada. It's the best fight they can take. Their eco count's going to start to dwindle a little bit. Yo does take out the castle, which is pretty important because there is not another castle right now for Mentalist, so he can't get Elite Huskarl. He can't get Perfusion. Yo should have the time to hold against this. His teammates are probably telling him that, you know, they're getting raids in and killing players right now. Hera might be defeated if this continues. He needs a big 1-for-2 shot here if he can, so he can at least keep his TC up. He's going to pop out now. Right after they fire, he's going to pop out. No, he's going to call the GG. Okay, GG's called, and Canada loses their first game of the tournament. Great job from Lix, especially. Because Lix did so much more damage than I expected because I forgot the TC drop was a thing. It's cheesy, it's ridiculous, but him Vil rushing 2 separate players while also TC dropping another, and then switching that TC drop to yet another player later on was way more than if you went scouts or towers, right? Classic China, classic Lix. They save their civilizations for this China win. We have ourselves a really close series here. Again, I don't think Canada will be that disappointed with this loss. And I think they probably saved their restart because there will be another Nomad game coming up in the series. But good stuff. This is exactly what we wanted from the series, guys. Gotta love the KD from Lix there. 7 kills, 30 units lost. But, dude, the positioning, like, it could not have been worse for Canada. Like, it's not just that it's 1v3 here and it's Lix. It's the fact that Lix is playing with their worst civilization. Literally, the last civilization they drafted, they don't care about the Slavs. They had to play them. Sorry, people who are fans of the Slavs. And then, not only that, not only were the TCs here for Canada, but their fish were all together. Right? It wasn't like sometimes you have the Spanish players dock next to the enemy docks, and then the Spanish player loses their fish early, and then they can't get to Fast Castle Conquistadors. Nope. It's like the biggest gift of a situation for Canada, for China, and they took advantage of it. Scores 1-1. All right, so we find ourselves here at game number 3, and I'm immediately going to need to start talking about the strategy on this map and kind of what people have figured out. So, again, I come at you with some of my experiences with my team, Team USA. We, as everyone would initially, prioritize water heavily, right? There's a lot of fish on migration here. Eventually, you do need to migrate to the middle islands. But most water maps, you have a lot of water control. And so what some people would do is they would go for, as we have a very early dock from Yona, an interesting build, lots of Navy for the flanks. And then you'd have the pocket players be protected by those flanks, and these pocket players would go for crazy fishing ships and economy. Now, that's pretty much what Canada has done, by the way, okay? Canada has pretty consistently, I'm not looking at Canada, sorry, had their pocket players, Chris and Hera, be free booming with fish. They transport over, they expand, and they take map control on land, okay? Now, here's the deal. It's like, if you win water on migration, when you're in Castle Age, everyone should already be here expanding anyways, right? And, like, then the Castle Age players can defend from the Feudal Age players' galleys. And the whole point of what I'm trying to say here is some teams have figured out it's not even worth the whole back and forth water thing with the flanks. Sometimes it's just best to try and get to the pocket players' fish, okay? So we've got Canada here. We got Slam, Malay, Hera, Berbers, Chris, Japanese, and then Mentalist, Vikings. Malay and Viking flanks, you're expecting to see galleys, right? Okay, here you've got Persians. Very interesting build order. He went for the dock early. I'm not sure I like it. I know what he's trying to do. I know he's going to add a fishing ship soon. He's not even going to add a fishing ship. Okay, it's still to my point, a strat I'm going to talk about. And then you have the pocket Vivi, Gurjaras, interesting. Tim, Byzantines, interesting. And then flank Lix. Now, what do Persians and what do Lithuanians have in common? They start with extra food. Lithuanians in this patch, this is not the updated patch, have 150 extra food. And notice how they've gone for very early food builds as well. Okay? Persians get plus 50 food and plus 50 wood. So, someone just said those pocket fishing ships will be hard to kill, though, fast and tough. True. And it should normally be hard to kill because you can't get there because of really strong play from the other flanks. But with a non-traditional build, and if you go up really fast, You just bypass the flank and you go directly to the pocket fish. That is what I think Yo and Licks are going to do. So instead of like a 22, 23, 24 pop build up, we are going to see like a 17 pop build, super low fishing ship count. It's similar to how Licks sacrificed himself in the Nomad game so he could help his teammates. That's what the flank builds are. And look, 15 population click up from Yo. This is why I got so crazy. Yo's dock was part of his build, not even to add a fishing ship, just so he could get extra 200 food from the shorefish. This is like as YOLO as it gets, though. If you're not killing the pocket's fish, then like Yo is going to be at a disadvantage compared to Mentalist, and it's not worth it. And then Licks is going to be at a disadvantage compared to Slam, and it's not worth it. So, yeah. We'll see. This is going to be incredibly fast. I think you just want 2 galleys. I mean, honestly, I think you run through with 1 galley first, and then you follow it up with the second one, hoping to kill the pocket's fish. Now, I covered Canada twice, and they always just had the same type of buildup that we're seeing on the flanks right now. They never faced up against a strategy like this, even though I think France has done it before. I'm not sure if it was to them or just figured it out later. And Chris and Hera have always had like 12 to 15 fishing ships that are never touched. So I'm excited because I think this is really going to throw Canada for a spin. And we have a pause currently. These games are live. But isn't it a unique idea, guys? I think it's an idea worth getting excited about. Anyways, this pause certainly is limiting my excitement. Vivi's map, only single wood line. Oh, true. Oh, this is a bugged map. Oh, no. This is... Oh, that's going to have to be an admin restart. I hope Canada closes their game. Like, this is what I'm worried about, right? This is 100% a bugged map.
Yes.
They could continue to play, right? The admin should reach out to them, in my opinion. But that's not on me, right? But if you were to restart this... Like, you close your game, and at this point, like, you even just look at the Vil counts, and you already see the feudal age times, and then Canada, if they restart it, could change their build to match it if they were worried about it. So, yeah, Vivi, I mean, hopefully for him, he's not stuck here for very long, but this is a bugged map. There should be more wood lines here. Also is, of course, on China. Like, if Vivi only has 1 wood line, they could just be reaching out and saying, hey, this is a bugged map. China plays on for element of surprise? Yeah, I think so. And also, keep in mind that this is fine for the pocket because the pocket should be here anyways. So look, double dock, still fishing ships coming out for Chris. Hera, still fishing ships coming out of 1 dock. And the galleys are just going to pass on by. It's going to be really tempting for Licks to go for Slam's fish. I think it's the correct play to not kill Slam's fishing ships and go directly for Hera's. But then again, if you see fish, you should kill fish. There go the galleys there. There go the galleys there. Mentalist is up on this side. Mentalist 3 docks. Again, this has to pay off. Mentalist going to hide his fish. Licks encountering fish here. And is he continuing to move on by? He is. I think this is the correct play from China. Now, what gets weird is that like Mentalist and Slam are going to have more ships in the long term because of their build. And if they do, these are Japanese fish, by the way. They won't die that fast. But if they do, then like that navy can go over and kill China's pocket. Slam's trying to track this. And so far, Licks has kind of just gone the wrong way here. But he might meet up with Yo. I think they might signal each other. They haven't killed the pocket's fish yet, guys. Oh, man. This is really good job from Slam to track here. Well played from Canada. And it was, as mentioned by my chat here, you've got Berber fishing ships, so they move faster, and then Japanese fishing ships, so they're tanky. So this has not accomplished what China would have wanted thus far. But we'll see. Slam does have to send more back here, and as he does that, there's more Navy just flying in on this side. And every game Hera had, he had an easy transport to the middle. He didn't have a lot of work to do. Now, suddenly, this is the first time that he's had all this work to do. And he's taking losses. And this should make life easier for Vivi, for China, and life easier for Tim. Tim's on 3 docks making fishing ships. Doesn't have a worry in the world. All right, Lix maybe microing here, which is why he's not microing that ship now. And Yo now has to defend the fish here. This is where the problem comes in with the strategy, though. Because now Yo is losing water to Mentalist. So this will start to swing back here for Canada. Eric can always add more fish. He will need a transport ship eventually. We'll see what more Yo can find. And I think right there, Mentalist needs to bypass Yo, in my opinion. I could be wrong with these callouts, by the way. But the whole idea is to set up the pockets. So Mentalist, you have a lead versus Yo. This is what Yo wants. This is going to allow Yo to mass more ships and just match what you have. I also have some fire galleys here from Chris. And I don't think that was part of his original plan, but probably a good move. That way, you know, Hera can be helped out by that. But Lix is running through here. Baker says, are all Canadian players better than Survivalist? Yeah, like, way better. Survivalist is a solid player, but he's not a team game player, and his rank is far below about 6 or 7 Canadians. And, oh my god, I love the strat, man! I love the strat. That said, Survivalist is on the team. I don't think he played. They have like 10 players on the team. I mean, even Dave is on the team. But yeah, I don't think Canada will play with anyone other than these players here. So you look at the eco counts. China has a lead, and you see how easy it has been for Vivi. Vivi's here in the middle. Here you also have some scout activity for Tim as he goes to the middle. 17 fishing ships for him. We do, however, have some galleys going through here for Mentalist. But Vivi is making ships because that has been communicated. So he could hopefully defend from that. Survivalist did play a game. Oh, did he play group stage? Okay, good for him. Good for him. I didn't actually see that. Every game I've seen from Canada, they've had this squad. Yeah, this is a good strat, man. I really like it. As long as you communicate with the pockets to say, okay, at this point, I'm kind of losing water and you need to make some navy. But that's already happening, right? Like, Tim is making navy and he's Byzantines. So he could likely deal with Slam's threat. Now, it will depend on micro. Also, this area of fishing was really smart for Vivi to kind of hide that away, almost foreseeing the future. Now, Lix just signaled. I saw a red X, and I think he's saying, watch out here to Tim. And Tim is now going to move his fish away. So we have a TC for Chris. We have villagers getting here for Hera. Hera's at 6 fishing ships. Remember, he's normally been about like 12 to 15. And the camel scout from Vivi has spotted that TC spot for Chris. So he's been active with that. And he's actually adding Sravamsha riders to raid the middle as well. Galleys from Mentalist and from Slam finding some fishing ship kills. In the end, they will lose their navy here. But they're doing something. Really good work from them to meet up together. War Galley upgrade in now. Slam is going to have his work cut out for him. And again, just wondering what's happening over here. We have War Galley upgrade from Chris. So he's working with Mentalist to go against Yo. So Canada has adapted well here because they have shifted onto water more than they probably initially planned to. But I think this all makes sense. And Yo's like, I think, surprised by this and is just going to go right on past and try and kill fish again. But Vivi hasn't committed a lot to water, you'll notice. He's committing to land. And the land pressure has been found by Hera. Hera's going to make camels here. These TCs are not TCs you place when you're comfortable with expanding, though. That's Sravamsha riders poking away. Hopefully Chris notices that one. It's almost better to have 1 Sravamsha rider than 10 here because he would notice 10. Okay, he notices now. Still galleys from Slam. Again, I'm impressed with how much he's done. He took Tim down to 8 fishing ships. And Hera's been on 9. That's a bigger mass of galleys than before, but Chris is here to defend again. He sees this the whole way through. Canada with more population. And some great stubborn play here. This is awesome. Yo will be in Castle Age soon. I'm noticing Mentalist is pretty far away. Like, this is all it. Oh, no, he's clicked up. I apologize. Sorry, I saw his food. So that's really good for Canada as well, because Mentalist still has really good Navy count. And while it was sneaky to put the fishing ships back here, I'm not sure those fishing ships will last long if Mentalist starts to loop his way around. 2 TCs for Vivi in the middle, about to be 3. And we just have 1 additional TC in the middle for Tim. Byzantines are normally flirting with the idea of fast imping here, but we haven't seen that. Look at this teamwork from Slam and from Chris. Oh my goodness. I like this because you're kind of letting Hera play his game. Hera is a really versatile player in 1v1s. I think in team games, the best thing for him is to just give him eco and stable units. He can play archer role as well, but I think Chris is maybe the player where you want him to switch into a bunch of different things here in combination with Slam. I know it feels a bit weird, but especially how this game has flowed. Look at Chris, guys. Like, this dude is... He was a top player in the mid-2000s, came back a couple years ago, plays sporadically. The guy's a god. He's got Navy on the left side with Mentalist. He's got Navy on the right side with Slam. And he's got 2 TCs in the middle. And he's got a crazy eco count right now. Could you credit some of that to the Japanese? Sure. You know, he would have lost more fishing ships if he wasn't the Japanese. But he is truly playing amazing. Mentalist drops the TC now in the middle. By the way, Canada, they love this map. I know it's their home map here, but they was their home map in virtually every other series I saw. And they have not been broken by this strategy. They've not been broken at all. And I think China, they're not playing this how they would have wanted to. Now, this is what they wanted. But Hera's Berbers, he has cheap camels, so he can defend from that. And, like, you didn't want Byzantines to have to make this many fires. You wanted the Byzantine player to be expanding to the middle more. Unfortunately for Tim, he's got to fight water on both sides, but there's so much Navy out there. You've got galleys from Mentalist here. That'll be upgraded. And then you've got galleys from Slam, and this is before you even talk about the fire ships from Chris. Look at Lix trying to get a TC up here. He is going pikeman, though. I like that choice here. I don't know what he's doing with his vills, though. Oh, God. This is really bad for him. 39 vills for Lix. Yo, by the way, fast imping? Fast imping with Persians? He's going to sling, right? Why would you go imp? Why? What? What? I have no clue what this is. Why would you ever go fast imp with Persians? An archer civ? Maybe? You have a forward castle? Maybe? Does he have stone? Does he... Okay, actually, I think he will want to try and drop a castle here and go Trebs. This is so weird. Vivi has his vills, by the way. Yo doesn't even have his own transport. Chris is very chill and doesn't get shaken easily. Yeah, Chris's mindset is amazing for team games. And what I've said is, like, what you really need for team games, you don't need, like, super elite level speed and execution. You need to be able to communicate and keep your cool. And you need to stick to a role for a team. And any top 100 player can execute on those things if they put in the time. And Chris has years worth of experience over a majority of players, right? Like, I think 2015 and 2017 Nations Cup, 2015, Hera probably wasn't even on the team. Chris was around back then and carrying. And Mentalist was around back then too, by the way. And then I think 2017 Hera played, but I think he was like their 4th best player. So Chris might not have the... Especially for people that don't know the history of Age of Empires, Chris might not have the name that he did before compared to the rest of the scene, but he's insane. I mean, this is going to be just so bad. I think Canada has been able to deal with this quite well. I don't know, dude. Like, fast imp into Persian chemistry, 1 range, 1 siege workshop. It's a low economy play, and low economy plays don't work well in migration when there's so many resources. I mean, even this castle puts an end to this whole thing. And then you have the faster imp from Tim. So he will maybe go for fast fire ships, but look how little control they have on land. I really like how Canada dealt with this. Particularly, I was impressed with Chris, because he made Navy to defend Hera, to defend Mentalist, and defend Slam, and also transitioned into the TCs really early. And I just think, in general, we didn't see the strategy for China pay off to the same degree. I think it was expected that the flanks would be in a worse position, and Yo and Lix. However, what was not expected was that what they didn't want was they didn't want Vivi to have to make Navy at all, and they didn't want Tim to have to make Navy. And they both had to make Navy, and they both struggled because of it. And typical China here, they are super far behind, and they're not going to call the GG right now. Hera's about to be imp as well. I'd maybe like to see Camel Archers from him, but we've got Samurai hype for Chris right now. This also feels like a waste of Yo's skills as a boomer / high eco player. I think they had low confidence on this map because Canada's so good on it. But yeah, I could see what you mean. Like, I think maybe having Yo pocket instead of Tim would have been better. But you have to go based on player comfort levels. Yo can kind of do everything. So yeah, he's maybe their best boomer, but Yo can do everything. If Tim can't do everything to the same level that they need, you put Yo in that spot, right? I think more teams need to do that, by the way, is have their best player take the more difficult role or the more awkward role. Because, like, every top 100 player could do... Again, I'm not trying to understate what we've seen here. As we could see a castle tonight, but, like, a lot of people can just fish boom, drop TCs, and boom, which is what they wanted Tim to do. Not sure if the other aspects of the game is something everyone can do, and China is actually accomplishing something here. We've got Gurjar camels with Yo's hand cannons. Like, how is Yo actually affording stuff here? He might be receiving some resources as well. Mentalist is going to have some pressure, possibly. And, I mean, if you look at the army type from Canada, Hera's just now switching into Camel Archer, which should be really insane. But you've got Samurai from Chris, and that does get countered by the hand cannons. Castle was denied. Lix is going to try and hold a bit of control and drop his own castle here, because I think eventually the Camel Archers will dominate, but I don't know, man. This is China, and never giving up. Tim, by the way, 96 villagers, so he's really caught up. Great job from Slam here to continue to pressure him, and also have economy of his own here with the Malay. But, you know, Tim's propped up both sides with those Byzantine fires. Having played Byzantines twice on this map, I can tell you, pretty freaking strong. You just got to patrol ships on either side and add economy. Make ships, patrol, add economy. It's hard work, but compared to everything else in this game, it's really not. As Mentalist TC goes down here too. What? How is this working? Okay, that castle I assume was deleted from Lix. Yeah, it was. He's got stone count now. I still think Lix should die to Samurai and Camel Archers and Trebs. His Imp TC is here, by the way, so he likely won't lose that. Also, don't see anything from land from Byzantines. It's still just water. That is another TC that's going to go down here for Mentalist. If Mentalist continues to lose grounds here, he might not have any eco to contribute long-term in this game. But he's still got good Navy control. Maybe I spoke too soon, but he's currently distracted because his eco is getting destroyed. Down goes the TC from Lix. Before Handcart, we do have Samurai here. Still not Elite Samurai from Chris. Kind of got to get that Elite upgrade here, but they do still shred buildings. Look how fast those TCs go down. Still think it's going to be extremely difficult for China. They have to start damaging Hera or Chris with this type of push. Those are Elite Travamsha Riders. If there's ever a Civ that could just somehow pull it back, it would be the freaking Gurjaras, man. Travamsha Riders so tricky to deal with. Hera's going to start losing castles here. There's no way Canada throws this, right? They have upgrades for Tim. I thought Canada... I mean, they still have a 100 population lead. It's a matter of what population and where that population is. Hera will lose a castle. Vivi has been untouched and is focusing primarily on stable units. And then the other type of unit that Canada's making would be infantry. But, you know, while it is elite samurai, if there's hand cannons, it will die to the hand cannons. Not a fight you take here without the hand cannons. What's the mass for Yo looking like? Okay, he brought his mass over here. There go the Sravamshas from Vivi. Man, Vivi. Dude, Vivi's everywhere with these things. He's not gonna get them all, but he's gonna get some of these trebuchets, which is so helpful. Still needs to push over here, though. Treb's very exposed. Yo is such low economy, so he can't make that many hand cannons. A lot more samurai, a lot more camel archers on the way here for Canada. And Canada should be able to return the favor and take out these Trebs. I would just use the samurai right now and do that if I were Chris. Again, he didn't lose all of his Trebs here. I think Yo maybe needed to have the hand cannons on this side. Chris will lose his castle, but it's still going to be a costly loss here for China, who continues to fight, but their population is dwindling now. And the only help we're going to have on land is 3 cataphracts for Tim. And, I mean, he's got enough fires to completely win water, right? Like, he could dominate water. I like the demos from Mentalist just to hold. I like the castle position, too. Those fires are really strong, but I don't think it's really what you need right now. What they need is they need to defend this area, as they are kind of pushing this area. Currently just trying to raid a little bit with the Sravamshas. Japanese towers, Yusama hype, okay. That's good to see. And enough castles here where while the Sravamshas are stupidly good against arrow fire, still probably will eventually die. Always felt like the Camel Archer was the unit to stop. Still not sure how they stop it here. It would probably need to be the Sravamsha Rider, right? And, guys, these are Castle Age elephants. Oh, no, they're getting upgraded now. Elite Battle Elephant for Slam. Cheap Chonkers from the Malay. And the fun fact about that is he meant to pick Magyar. That's a really nice addition here. And Slam feeling pretty comfortable on water that he could do that. He's holding that position. And, yep, Elephant's really going to help out. Nice little meat shield. That's not a little meat shield. That's a big meat shield. Okay, this is adventurous from Hera. I'm not sure this is where you'd want your camel archers to go. But he's going to have more, right? And it actually pulls the Sravamshas away. And that's the most dangerous unit to him. And it allows them to continue to push here. Yeah, now they've got siege to push back the castles. I think this is over. A great fight from China, though. A really good hold from Canada on their home map. And a fantastic series in Nations Cup here, guys. I hope you are all enjoying this. If you're watching later on YouTube, let me know what your favorite game has been so far. My favorite game so far probably might have actually been this one. All the games have been equal entertainment now that I think about it. This one was cool because you could clearly see what China was trying and how difficult it would be for Canada to try and deal with it. And Canada, they were able to. Still feel like the downside of picking Persians and Lithuanians on flank is they're such good pocket civilizations. They're the civilizations you would actually want in the middle to make a lot of army. And, you know, particularly with the Persians on the flank, I just been thinking, was Fast Imp ever the plan, or was that really what you want? I just think Yo felt like we're behind. I need a timing, and to be honest, that the timing did do a lot more than I expected. I think the game plan was good. Should mention, though, that they won't have Lithuanians or Persians available for their home map, which is a Nomad start. But it's not a traditional Nomad start, so I don't know if those civs would necessarily be as strong on African clearing. China continues to fight here, being behind by 200 population. Slam's got 46 elephants! They're so cheap! But they're 300 HP, so good luck stopping them. Yeah, there's actually no counter to elephants on the field right now. Sravamshas don't counter them. Camels don't even counter them that well. I wouldn't even consider the Sravamsha Rider a counter to Camel Archer, by the way. I think they're good against them, but I wouldn't consider it a counter. Good job from Vivi. I mean, he's trying to take out the bomber cannons from Hera. He might get all those bomber cannons, but who needs bomber cannons when you've got elephants? And Hera's got plenty more in the queue because Canada has a lot more gold secured. Samurai melting castles. Woo! Hype. Vivi's done a lot in this game, man. He's got elite chakrams out there as well. He's trying to do it all on his own. I just don't see that as being realistic. Yo is completely surrounded. And his position is even better than... At least based on the score, Lix's position right now. But no, Yo's position is actually far worse than Lix's. Yo's not going to be able to make army. Yo's going to lose more villagers. And Lix will probably be in the same position soon. Just joined and regret I didn't join earlier. Yeah, the games have been fantastic so far, but welcome. Eventually, the whole series will hit YouTube for sure. GG's called. Canada goes up 2-1 in this series. So back and forth series thus far. There was a clear game plan from China to try and disrupt the pocket players' fishing economy. And I really felt like Chris had a masterclass of a game there in the defense. And it was a good job from all the Canadian players to eventually switch towards some control in the middle. Vivi, what are you doing, bro? Your whole team is resigned. Okay, he's having fun with the chakrams. But you know, it felt like the communication was there where Slam said, hey, Hera, this is coming. The same thing with Mentalist passing that information along to Chris. Ultimately, I think having Japanese meant that Chris wasn't going to be focused on as much, right? Because I think the first time Yo showed up and shot those fishing ships, he was like, oh, crap. I can't kill him. I've got to go to Hera. So Hera kind of got a little doubled there. But Chris did a really good job. There were Shrivamshas in the middle. There was Navy that was disrupting him. And he had to switch roles all the time between the boom and the water control and whatever else. And he did a great job there. Loved the tower play. Also loved the resilience from Slam and Mentalist. I loved how good they did to get to the fishing ships eventually. And just basically make it so Tim had to make Navy this game. And Tim couldn't go land. And then Hera defended wonderfully from the Shrivamshas with the camels. And has really good economy at this point with 53 camel archers, which is everything you'd want. So, GG Canada. There's the stats for you. Chris with 300 kills. Hera 161. Mentalist 160. Slam 194. Unfortunately for China, Lix and Yo kind of sacrificed themselves. And Tim and Vivi were not able to really work together in the middle of the map. But I think Byzantines are... Here's the thing. Wouldn't Byzantine... No, I guess Byzantines aren't better in Yo's position because they can't go for the fast up. Yeah, because I was thinking it's better to have Byzantine flank on water because they have the cheaper imp and they could still go hand cannons, but then you wouldn't be able to go up that fast. So they solely chose Persians and Lithuanians for the flanks because of the extra resources at the start and the build orders. Interesting. GG. And here we are, game 4. And this is a home map for China. But unlike the Nomad game we saw earlier, I think the civilizations are just fantastic for Canada. Mongols, Huns, Magyars, Hindustanis. It's not bad civilizations, guys, but it's not fitting that team game meta that I think Canada's going to try and employ, where you have 2 players going archers and 2 players going for eco and knights. But it is a Nomad start. And last time around, what happened was you had Lix in a position to be able to disrupt multiple players. And we'll start it off with China introductions. We do have Lix playing as the Magyars here in the orange. You'll notice he's not too far away from Hera. He's not too far away from Chris. And he's also not too far away from his teammate Tim, who's playing as the Huns. In the middle of the map, we have Vivi playing as the Hindustanis. And then in the north of the map, on his own, which could be quite good, as he will want time, is Yo playing as the Mongols. And never mind, forget about it. There's a restart, actually. So forget that. They didn't like their positions. And remember earlier in the day, we talked about restarts and how that all pans out. And should Canada have used a restart on Nomad when Lix was up against them? And at some point I said maybe they just wanted to save it because they knew that they would probably lose that game anyways. Against such good civilizations and such good players. So they call restart here, not liking their positions. So, it's worth noting, because I don't know if this will end up being in the recordings later, but Canada used their restart. So they didn't like their TC positions just a moment ago. Same civilizations, of course. You can't change those. And here we are, African clearing, game 4 in this best-of-5 semifinal. And China, this is their home map. And I had said, as far as the standard approach goes for this map, I like the civs way more for Canada. They have Mayans, which get an extra vill once the TC is completed. They have Chinese, which you get 3 extra vills once the TC is completed. Plus, there's instant food on this map if you TC next to the shorefish. So those 2 civilizations already really strong. And then they've got the Cumans and the Burgundians, which can be strong in their own right. But let's start with China. Let's introduce them. We've got Yo. He's kind of towards the corner playing as the Mongols here. He's a player who's going to want time so he can get to Mangadai. Then we've got Vivi playing as the Hindustanis, not too far away from Yo. And not too far away from there, we've got Lix, got distracted, playing as the Magyars, who is very close to Hera. So having your Cuman player, the player who wants time most likely to boom, we'll see. Being in this position is not ideal for Canada. And then Tim is actually down here in the south. And Tim is also not too far away from all the players we just introduced. So Canada, the other players are all kind of far away, but Hera is completely surrounded here. So I think if Hera senses this, Hera should try and pull a Lix, guys. Remember that Nomad game earlier? Will Hera do it, though? It's not really Hera's type of... it's not really his type of thing. Okay, watch this, watch this, watch this. Okay, why is Slam with a villager here? What is Slam doing? Watch his food. He's got a villager collecting food. He hopped in the Allies TC, and he got the food. Did you know that was possible? I bet you didn't know that was possible. You rarely see this, but because it's Nomad, and because Slam's one villager spawned on the other side of the map, that is a really good play for a Nomad start. Again, if you garrison in your allies TC with resources, you get the resources. So much better than Slam walking across the map, right? I think he will eventually. But when all your eco at the start needs to be pumping, I really like that control there. Hera would have to... I guess Hera doesn't have to eject the villager, but yeah. Anyways, I saw some signals on Hera's TC, so I think China knows about it. Hera might not be pleased, but the other players are in great spots. Mentalist here playing as the Burgundians. In the north, then, you've got Chris playing as the Chinese. And then you've got Slam in the back position playing as the Mayans. I think the only thing they would change is maybe they'd want the Chinese player further away, because Mayans typically go archers. So maybe you'd want the archer player a little bit closer to the action, but still. Already an eco lead for Canada. Already really good position for Canada. And again, will Hera understand that he's surrounded by people and try and be aggressive against them all? That's a big thing. Our base says, I think Slam keeps that build there and builds forward ranges. That would be interesting. Yeah, I could see that, but he's going to need to, like... he's taking some of the Rhino as well. I was going to say he's going to need resources. Dude, this is so cool. This is so incredibly rare that you see this used. I think you typically only see it in Nomad starts. The other time I've seen it is if a player runs out of wood. Like, let's say you lose your town center and you lose your lumber camps and you have 90 wood. You then chop wood and then you jump inside of your allies' TC to get enough wood for a lumber camp or whatever. Yeah, I could absolutely see Slam doing what you said. Because at this point, he's been here long enough. This is now his house villager and maybe archer villager. So, we'll see. They don't know where the TC is, apparently. Oh, no. Slam is pushing in the zebra with the villager. Look at the scouting, by the way. It is shared exploration in this tourney. So that is the scouting for all of Canada. But they have amazing vision. They have an amazing start. And I think they have amazing civs. If we go to a game 5, it will be Black Forest, where I think the civs are a lot closer from team to team. I think you could actually argue that China has the better civilizations remaining. But you see some looms coming in, which normally indicates Feudal Age will come in soon after that. And Lix is probably going to be going for a whole bunch of scouts. There's a signal from Hera there, so I think he lost a sheep there. Yeah, and Hera's probably saying there must be somebody down there. So they probably know there's somebody here. They have to know there's somebody here. They do not know where Yo is right now. And Yo is going fast castle, and I think going fast castle with the Mongols, you have to decide on, do you want to go for the Mangudai early, or do you want to go for the economy? I think you almost have to go for the economy. And I say that just because you're already behind in economy. Chinese Mayans, it's just, they're so insane. So you got to be greedy. And I think greed works out perfectly here because we're going to have at least Licks be very aggressive. We have quite a few feudal age times coming in right now for Canada, though. Hera doesn't have a barracks, though. So, where's the villager for Slam? There's the villager for Slam. Slam also doesn't have a barracks. Okay, there's his barracks. I think our base called it. I think this villager will build forward range. Very nice call. But Hera's not going to make military here. Hera's going to drop a second town center. I think that's a big reason they chose Cumans in the first place. And the second TC will likely go here for Hera. There you go. So it's on... It's not the best spot ever, but it's on a lot of food, right? And there's the barracks soon to be stable then for Licks. Zebra could kill this Vil. No, it's fine. Okay, well played there from Tim. We have a stable from Chris, so he'll be adding scouts. We have the forward archer range there from Slam. And then here we have a stable from Mentalist. So Canada's going way more aggro here. But this is going to be good for Hera, right? Because what can happen sometimes is if you got no military and then you just get completely overrun if you're the human player in some of these exposed positions. But now you've at least got a teammate around. It could hurt Slam, though, that he can't make Spearmen right now. Look at the confidence in which Licks moves around, dude. Licks is crazy. Well, that's going to be a little awkward. Knowing this game, though, that villager won't die because TCs don't do damage to things. They're just so inaccurate. It's so confusing. When you're underneath the TC, you take less damage than when you're like 5 tiles away. I do not know why that is the case, but that is the case on the Definitive Edition. Ooh, villager here. Exposed from Tim. Tim maybe not expecting scouts. And that's going to be a kill from Mentalist. Very well played there for Mentalist. And look at the walls coming up here for Tim. He is Huns, and he's going fast castles, so I'm wondering what that means. So basically, guys, the only person making Feudal Age army right now is Licks. He's the only one. And Hera's walled in this villager. Oh, never mind. The house has been deleted. So, I mean, Hera, he's producing Vils out of 2 TCs. He's got a decent amount of food income. There will be some awkward moments, but this is fine for him. Meanwhile, Vivi's going fast castle. Vivi's got archers on him already. I wonder if they weren't expecting that. Like, if they knew that the TC... Yeah, okay, guys, I think they knew Slam's TC was here since the start, and they did. And they never expected the archers to come out from Slam. So they figured that it would be pressure they could deal with, because it would be pressure coming from scouts. And you're going to have camels from the Hindustanis, right? That's really interesting. We also have a tower now from Mentalist, as he's determined to get through here. But we will see cav archers for Tim, it looks like. So the better civilizations for pressure, probably the better civilizations for booming as well for Canada. But they didn't play too greedy here. They've been aggressive. Here, Hera. And maybe overextending a little, but at the same time, he's still got a lot of Vils to work with, and he does save them nicely. A tower here from Chris on the wood line from Yo. Yo wanted a full boom, guys. He wanted a full boom. He wanted to be greedy. He makes it to Castle Age, but he's just got army all around him. His economy is looking really bad right now. He's not going to be able to take wood. He's going to run out of food. Tower here from Licks is cheeky because there's archers around from Slam, but the archers are actually over here right now. Tim and Vivi need to do a lot with their Castle Age because this is looking bad. I don't know. Like, Vivi won't even be able to afford much beyond just, like, 1 or 2 camels. Yo will drop the town centers now. We'll see if this town center completes. Slam does have archers with fletching, but it's only 3 of them. This is obviously super risky. But you have to take that risk now because your team is so far behind. Mentalist hasn't gotten through. Tim will be up in like 30 seconds. He's got 2 ranges. I'd like to see like 4 range cav archers to bring your team out of this deficit. And yo, it's damage control time. And Chris is going to be upset with himself that he allowed this. He'll know now that Yo's on 3 TCs, and this TC gets up on some food, which will keep the Vils pumping for Yo. So much army for Canada. 31 army versus 3. And I really like the tower play. Because that fortifies positions. I'm not sure I don't like, you know, the lack of walls on them, but... I should mention that Canada hasn't killed that much, right? Like, yeah, there's a lot of army, but it hasn't actually killed a lot. That tower's a little weird, right? I can see what he's doing, but I mean, Yo can still take gold. And now we've got a camel attacking Hera, got some scouts chasing Hera. Lick's still not losing Vils, still dropping towers. Hera having some awkward problems. All of a sudden, I'm beginning to think that maybe China could bring themselves out of this hole. Such greed in this game from them. But, you know, you're going to break eventually because there's just army everywhere. This is insane. Quick walls from Lick so he doesn't lose these villagers building this tower. He got the quick walls down, but there's going to be archers there as well. Lick's trying to kill Hera's villager and does not kill the villager. Slam should deny this tower. This is going to be a tower you have to leave if you're Licks, and he does do so. Doesn't actually have enough space in that tower because he's got so many villagers forward. He's so all in. And he's now taken more losses than it looks like Hera has in this game. Forward market from Mentalist. Classic. You do have Slam on the way to the next stage. Picks off another villager. Slam has killed a few vills this game, right? He's done a great job. Hera's boom is super disrupted, though. All that said, as long as he takes gold, he'll still make it to Castle Age at a really decent time and has a lot of ills, so... Chris is untouched right now. Slam is untouched. But we have Cav Archers on Mentalist. So finally the Cav Archers show up. Mentalist may struggle a little bit because of this. I can't believe I forgot to make a Now All of China Knows You're Here reference when Hera was surrounded at the start. Shame on you, I suppose. Lick's trying to do Lick's things continuously. Again, incredibly bold how he just moves forward with these towers, but you kind of have to, right? You know your team's behind. Good damage control from Yo as he repairs his mangonel, but all 3 of his town centers are garrisoned. All 3 of them. That is not a good economy. And he can't take the food there because Chris made another tower. I think this is over. I think China... It's a bit weird, man. Like, I think they got mind gamed. I don't think they expected to see this much Feudal Age army, particularly from Slam. But I think they played far too greedy here. And they've gotten punished by it. I think as long as Chris clicks up soon to Castle Age, I think Canada's going to be in a good position long term here. And I mean, Hera's going to be up as well, right? Look at the micro from Slam, by the way. He says, oh, you're repairing that mangonel? That's cute. All right, I'm going to kill your villagers now. 36 villagers for Vivi. He's making camels. Camels in siege. And Slam's playing amazing this game. Also, Mayans. Cheap archers. Great economy. Chinese. Great economy. Finally, I experienced a Lick's killing a villager from Hera. There hasn't been many instances in this game. And, oh god, Tim is going Ram Cav Archer push versus Mentalist? It's interesting that he wouldn't go for the town center here, and that he would go for the woodline instead. I feel like the town center is the obvious choice. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Yeah, the only Canada player that boomed was the most forward one. Yeah, and I think they could have easily thought, Hera, you can't boom because of this position. But I like how they kind of played towards their Civ strengths a bit more by allowing him to do so. Castle from Yo, though. I mean, Chris still hasn't clicked up to the next age. China does have an eco lead based on what I'm seeing on my screen. If this castle goes up, I mean, it is Yo with Mangadai, but Yo lost 4 or 5 villagers over on this side as that was all happening. Castle should go up. It's not going to be easy. You got to conserve what you can, preserve what you can. Micro continues here for Slam. Kill the mango. Castle, I got to look at the mango first, though. Slam, I believe. Slam will get it. He gets it. Castle, still not up. Still 76%. God, Hera's situation's awkward. He's going to make knights, though. And now we have Rams and Cav Archers going for the TC from Mentalist. And guys, China's actually kind of making this happen. The greed is paying off. Hera's come over to save the day, but Mentalist he's pretty much out of the game right now. He is without a town center at the very least. Hera doesn't have +2 armor, so he will lose his knights. And Yo's completed his castle and has access to wood and gold to make Mangadai. This is crazy. He doesn't have fletching yet. Like, he doesn't have food eco, but it's not too bad. Chris still 2 minutes away from the next age. And this is ridiculous, man. This is why they've been so greedy. I am really impressed. Now, important point here is Mentalist is going to hide with Slam, but Slam is going to have a crazy boom, okay? So even if China starts to take a lead, Mayans being on the other side of the map and having really good untouched economy, that matters. But Hera is, you know, kind of in harm's way here. And I'm wondering where Hera can get gold right now. Okay, Hera's got gold here. I wonder if Tim knows about that. Yeah, I think Tim needs to, and probably will shift his focus towards that area soon. Wow, man. I mean, well, let's look at the Eco KD real quick. Eco KD. Look at Hera's deaths. Hera lost 24 vills this game? Whoa, dude. Well, now, you know, like moments ago, I'm saying, well, I really like how they made it so Hera played towards his strengths. Now you question the boom a little bit. Slam killed 14 villagers. Chris killed 9. Mentalist lost a lot, though. And Vivi's at 62 vills. 3 TC booming. What has happened in this game? What a great job from China. It's so crazy. You know, when you see that much army running around people's bases, particularly China's bases, obviously, that China was able to boom at the same time. I'm realizing now 3 town centers for 3 out of the 4 players. And then, I mean, just Licks things where he's just got towers and scouts everywhere. Licks will happily do that. Honestly, at this point, I want to say, like, Slam needs to have the best game he's ever had in Nations Cup to somehow win this game. Look at the difference in economies. Slam is 4 TC booming. But, oh, man. Hera's only got 8 knights to contribute. And, oh, he's going to lose more villagers here as well. These scouts will kill the crossbowmen and could kill Hera's villagers if Hera doesn't pay attention. There's some weak ones there. Wow. China loves Nomad. We have Black Forest as the potential Game 5. And it was looking likely that we might get there. Mangadai have come over to Chris's base. Guys, Chris was the original T90 farmer, by the way. There wasn't a big community back then. There were no... Memes weren't a thing back then. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Look at some of these farms, dude. I'm so proud of him. But honestly, he hasn't reacted. I guess because he was maybe killing stuff over here. This is so bad for him. Oh my god, he's losing so much. Maybe a little too chaotic, right? Nomad can do that. And when you're in 6 different spots on a map, it's hard to keep track of them all. Mods, if you could deal with that user, that'd be great. But you've got Vivi at 75 villagers with the Hindustanis, who has fantastic camels. You've got Yo on 62 villagers with 4 TCs soon with Mangadai. You've got Tim going for 5 town centers. He still has 20 cav archers, and he was late to seeing Slam's castle, but could disrupt Slam's eco slightly. As Slam traps the army, Slam with the quick walls, and the cav archers. Oh god, they're gonna run right into the crossbows as well. Slam has played super good this game. The problem is I mean, you do have Hera at a decent vill count, but he's not in the spot he really needs to be. The other players are really just struggling And I think the army is going to get to a point for China where they're going to actually dish out some real damage and kill somebody. That said, Yo lost Vils recently. I want to go back to the Eco KD. Whoops. Yeah, Yo's lost 24 Vils. A lot of Vils have gone down in this game. Tim's killed 18, though, with 3 deaths. Really impressive game from Tim. God, stop. I don't want to switch the colors, Capture H. Thank you. I love this from Chris and Slam, by the way, how they've been able to stop the Chinese players from advancing forward. I don't know if you guys have picked up on it, but Hera's boom and Slam's boom combined have kind of evened out the Vil counts now. And again, I was expecting a big wave of Mangadai camels to come this way towards Hera. Isn't happening because Chris still here with Slam. How does Slam have so many different groups now? He does have Mangadai at his base right now. He's going to make plumed archers. I wonder if you want the Mayans to make archers long term. Like, I feel like Slam needs to go for a big eagle play. Not ego, eagle. I think that might be your unit type. Hera's going to really start to mass some stuff here. Still not +2 armor on his Cav. The Cav archers should be able to win these types of engagements, but Tim is known for being kind of a slower player. He's not the biggest micro player ever. Closest game of the series, guys, here in game number 4. And great job from Chris to snipe the siege. Dang, that's so impressive. That means this crossbow army is harder for China to engage against. And Chris still returning the favor against Yo. Remember, he lost all those villagers. It looked pretty bad, but now all of a sudden he's doing some hard work here. Really impressive. Meanwhile, Cav Archer's trying to advance forward for Tim, and he finds Hera's on him. And this will be a really interesting fight. The Knights, though, from Tim going in for the siege. Very, very nice addition. He's not full committing to Knights, but he knows that his Cav Archers can destroy as long as the siege is out of the picture. You have Slam on the way to Imp for Canada. He is their hope. He is their dream in this game. And, well, Tim and Hera still need to take big fights. You still got scouts from Lix hitting. Lix, is he in Castle Age yet? Lix is still feudal. Okay. And we have a castle from Tim, and this castle will go up. Hera could try his best with a siege to take out the Knights, but it's not going to be enough. The castle should complete. Also, we have Lycav raids from Mentalist. There's so much happening here on this map right now. Slam's bringing his crossbows over. He's being chased down by some siege. You have Yo moving forward for what looks like a forward castle. Tim's castle will go up. 400 population for both teams. And, you know, for Hera, I think he could maybe use his Knights against Lix now, but you never really want to be the guy. You really never want to be killing the guy, sorry, that's stuck in feudal. But yeah, you just do it. He's annoying you. Do it to send a message at the very least. China will need Lix in the game. Like, I understand that Lix served a purpose here, but the fact he never reached Castle Age this game is quite bad. Him killing Hera villagers is not going to even out the Vil count between himself and Hera at this point, right? Hera's got TCs. It looks like he's close to clicking up, but I mean, he's not going to contribute. Especially when we will have El Dorado Eagles. Okay, this is what you do, okay? Now, this is a quote from Yo from NAC. He was like, never go Halb, never go Archer, just go 70 Eagles. That's a Yo quote, and I think that's what you do here. You've got Mangadai out there. You've got Cav Archers out there. You've got Camels out there. Forget about, I mean, micro your Archers. Have fun, Slam. You're good at it. You completely forget about even like Siege Ram. No, I think, honestly, there's not enough castles out there where you need to worry about that. You just go for ridiculous Eagle numbers. Now, Slam is on Eagle Scout, okay? He's in the carry position. Slam is known for having some nerves. He still didn't even upgrade to Eagle Warrior. He is an Imp with Eagle Scouts, with Feudal Scouts that have El Dorado. I have never seen that before. Slam, bro, you should have Elite Eagle right now. Your window should be now. Hera's starting to fall off a little bit. Could use some support. Slam, are you kidding me? Okay, now please tell me you know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know he doesn't have Elite Eagle. He queued up more Eagles. Oh, no. Or should I say, oh, Canada. No, Slam. Bro, you got Eldorado Castle Age Eagles. Oh, and what makes it worse for him is he's actually going to win this fight. Well, maybe he won't. I don't know. Slam, please, buddy. Oh, this is devastating. If China win this game, it is because of this moment. They still should win, I think, because the Eagles are everywhere. But, I mean, this has given Vivi time to make Golems. And Golems, they're very good against Eagles. And he hasn't lost significant chunks of his economy, Vivi, because these aren't Elite Eagles yet. Mangadai also significantly better against just standard Castle Age Eagles than Elite Eagles. Oh. Come on, Slam. But Tim hasn't seen this. The Eagles have still devastated. Is no one telling him? Is all of Canada... Don't you guys have good healthcare? Shouldn't you have really good vision? I mean, that's what I hear about, you know, good old Canada. I mean, you guys should get... All of them should get their eyes checked. What's happening? Obviously, you know, joking. Kind of, sort of, but like... People fighting with Slam should notice it. It's such a big difference between Elite Eagle and regular Eagle. I can't believe this. I mean, Slam's killed probably 50, 60 villagers. He's got 40 more Eagles in queue. Let me check his barracks. Does he have it in queue behind the Eagles? No. The vision is not included? Okay, gotcha. Well, that explains it then. We don't do anything until there's a please. Please, Slam, get Elite Eagle. Before you get banking and send resources to your teammates, get Elite Eagle. Lots of map control for Canada, though. You think, look at Hera's position. Obviously, Hera's fallen off big time here. But he's like, if he could just like be a thorn in the side of the Chinese players by staying here, it could be really nice. I cannot believe this, man. Castle's going to go up here for Tim. He's in Imp. His castle, his cav archers, everything is doing so much more damage against these Eagles than should ever be possible. Slam has 100. He has 70 Eagles on the map now with no Elite Eagle Warrior. That's true. The USA, we're big into Eagles. USA, maybe that's why I notice it. We love our Eagles. I mean, Lix is out of the game. You've got Yo on 18 Mangadai. Not a lot. He's on the way to Imp. You have 41 Golems. So now Chris is needed. Chris is going to need his Cav. Where are those Golems at? I think gold is becoming a little bit of an issue for China as they need to expand. We will also have Cav for Mentalist. But Elite Golem's in. It's almost as if the Elite upgrade matters here. Slam has had all the pressure on himself here to carry for the team. We called that out when he was booming earlier. He's now moving forward. Slam, please! Guys, there's this old tournament meme where Slam didn't get fletching till Imp when he was going galleys, okay? This is good. Dates back to like 2013, 2014. I don't want this to be another one of those things, Slam. But as a caster, I'm obligated to talk about it. And we have a pause now, which... You know, maybe someone's got to go pee, or maybe someone needs to see if they have Elite Eagle. This is crazy. Canada still should win the game. Is this a flex? I actually have to go pee. I mean, listen, the economy for Chris is untouched, has been for a very long period of time. Same for Slam, same for Mentalist. Hera, good luck to you, my friend. You should have tried to run away much earlier. But maybe, in all fairness, he was expecting a lot of this to be pushed back by Slam. Tim, he doesn't have the largest army mass, but he could maybe get there. He's totally disrupted. In fact, he doesn't seem to have a lot of gold. Lix, you could barely see the guy, so let's just forget he exists. Vivi is the carry player now, and he's got 25 Ghoulems, which is great. But he's not completely untouched. Yo is not completely untouched either. And especially if Chris's castles go up, this is going to be amazing. What is the red up the middle? There must have been like a lumber camp. Oh, there is a villager there from Vivi still. That's been there a long time, I'm sure. Okay. Well, here comes Slam. Still no elite Eagle Warrior. And the stress of the moment has him continually producing army and patrolling across the map. He's playing like a beast. Like, the whole narrative over this game would be different if Slam had Elite Eagle. It would be how impressive Slam played with the archers and his economy and how he's been able to carry his team to victory and how Canada always have a player that can do it, and that's what makes them one of the favorites to win this whole thing. Hey, Elite Eagle! Woo! Okay, I think China die now. He's got 65 of them, and all the other players, well, not all the other players, but Mentalist and Chris are going to have a ton of stable units. Now, China's not going to want to call this because this would be the end of the series, but wow, what a difference. What a difference. I wonder if Slam told them. I think I would tell my teammates, but I feel like some players wouldn't tell their teammates what they just did. I guess they are winning, so you might be a little bit more comfortable saying that and letting them make fun of you for it. Hera told Slam really frustrated, you know you don't have Elite Eagle, right? Okay, so Hera noticed it. Well, that happened. Yeah, and I just don't see any way back now for China, and I think Canada wins this one. Again, the Ghoulam is good against Eagles, but not against 70 of them. That's the precise number I used in my example earlier, which is kind of interesting. And then Cavalier and soon-to-be Paladin, it kills the Ghoulam pretty easily. Yo does have 30 Mangadai, but I don't even know if he's going to have the gold and control to be able to mass them. What a great job from Chris and from Slam to keep raiding back here, though. They just somehow whittle their sneaky little units through, which is so impressive. Hera's kept his Vil count pretty high. Hera could now receive resources from his teammates, so we got some resources from Slam sent to him. So he wants to come into the game. But Slam carry, even without Elite Eagle Warrior, is part of the story here. I really just think the aggression from the Canadians was so good. Bit of an interesting game for Hera, obviously. He just straight boomed into making some army, into dying, into rebooming, but there was a lot of focus on him, and the player that was focused on him was Lix for the most part, and like Lix, I don't know where his Vils are, but they're not going to survive much longer if this game continues like this. Elite Chukunu is actually not awful against Mangadai, by the way, if you get good upgrades. Yeah, we don't even have Elite yet, and we don't have Rocketry, and yeah, we're just missing upgrades there. But Tim is going to die. The Paladins into Elite Eagles. And again, still continuous streams of units running all around. We do have the Hindustani player now on Heavy Camel because of the incoming Cav switch. That's the beauty of the Hindustanis. You can kind of do well against all different types of killer units, but that now means you can't stop the Eagles. And Hera will be able to contribute here as well, because Hera will be an imp. I would like to see Hera make sure he gets markets so we could add trade, because I don't even know if Paladin's needed. I know he just wants to make army here, but I think the way you would lose the game is if you didn't have trade in the long run. Because you've got such control now, you keep pushing, but then you also add trade. But I think he could probably do a mix of both. Like we said, Tim is out of the game now. He's completely been gutted here. And Lix has been out of the game for some time. So I think China's going to learn some lessons here, guys. But this is exactly how I thought the series would go. There's no way China would ever get swept. They did hand Canada their first loss of the tournament. But, you know, considering this is a... considering this, there's a loser's bracket, right? I think China is going to learn lessons. I don't think China's been training a lot. And to be fair, neither is Canada. But these are just two really good teams. I felt like Canada was at a higher level overall. I think their players are, if you were to even look at the 1v1 abilities, a bit stronger. And, you know, the thing about Canada is I feel like they could have any of these 4 players carry them on any map, right? Like, Slam carries here. Mentalist had that crazy, crazy move in the game 1. And there are more examples. Like, Chris also played quite well. I think it says a lot that, like, Hera's bottom score and wasn't top score in a lot of their wins, and still Canada was winning and moving on to what will be the winner's bracket final. And again, Vivi doesn't want to resign. He did this earlier in the series, which is kind of funny. And Canada will win this game despite the fact that Slam forgot to lead Eagle for 10 minutes. But a great game from Slam. He made 331 Eagles. I loved, man, the forward villager underneath the TC forward archers. And I think that was one of the things that surprised China here. I think they were simply expecting Mayans to boom. And they thought, oh, man, we can just go... We could just play heavy army from one player. And we'll get away with it. But suddenly, you know, Chris came in as well. Chris, great recovery. Remember when Chris lost a lot of vills? We're like, oh my God, Chris, what are you doing? Look how he recovered. Super consistent, super strong play. Canada's looking good, man. Vivi had to resign when he got top score. That's a Vivi thing, probably. But yeah, the good news, as hype as this is for Canada, the good news, obviously, for China is it's a double elimination tourney. I'll show you what the bracket looks like in a second for people later on YouTube. I will be casting as much of it as I can. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to cast the loser's bracket, but like the last 4 to 6 important sets will all be covered. Slam 30k gold in that game. He had more gold than, well, he had as much gold, almost, the math's a little off, as Yo, Tim, and Lix combined. Like, what? Crazy. I mean, that's what his eco did for him there. Also, very good KD, which could have been way better if you remember to lead Eagle. So that's another Slam meme to work with. Fortunately, it came with a victory. Let's now tab out, and I'll just show you the bracket. So this is the winner's final. Canada will play against the winner of Finland and Argentina. Don't know when that is. I really hope to cover that one. I think Finland goes in as the favorite there. If Canada or anyone loses here, they're still okay. And they would go to the loser's final, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? And then, you know what, the players who all fall down here, like right now, China is waiting after that loss to face France or Austria. Have a chance to move their way all the way back up to the final. But basically, the way it works is whoever at the top bracket makes it the whole way through without losing at all starts the final with 1 win. Whereas the people who had to use their second chance that make it to this final will end up... you know, being 1-0 down when that final starts. So we've got some big teams, some big countries left. Just to show you real quick, this is what we're looking at. So Brazil, after falling to the losers bracket, they have destroyed and looked strong. I think Brazil would be my favorite right now over who would win between Germany and Chile, though I think Germany's the favorite there, and Germany's been impressive. Especially considering they haven't played with Jordan, I think they might do so, which would be a big boost for them. But yeah, winner of this would then face the loser of Argentina-Finland. And yeah, you can kind of see how it all breaks down here. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. I hope you guys are ready for more Nations Cup as we come to a close. There's been some really exciting games, and the level's only going to get higher. Like I said, like with Canada, China, I think Argentina's done a lot of training. I know Finland's done a lot of training. Like these guys are just super, super good. I don't think they're doing a lot of training. These games are acting as training for them. Their brain is expanding, right? They're learning more things, facing up against different civ combinations. So it's going to be fun to watch these teams just get better and better as we move on.